What up, people? Royal family, Triple Crowns, Royal family. Good evening, good evening, good evening. We are joined today by the brother Jean Pierre, the good brother Sean Green, who has a powerful story, such a powerful story to tell. And we are awaiting Brother Tyrone. Hopefully, he'll make it into the palace. But we want to welcome you all in. Hope everybody is doing well. We're going to start off with our connection question, which is, what do you do to take care of your mind? What do you do to take care of your mind? So that is where we're going to start. Hopefully, the families are coming on in. Triple Crowns Royal family, come on in. Uh, Brother Jean, we will start with you before we get to our esteemed guest and survivor and father who has such wisdom to impart to us today. So glad to have Brother Sean on. But John, we'll start with you. What do you do to take care of your mind, brother?
Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Brother Will, Brother Sean, Tyrone be here too. What do I do to take care of my mind? Lord have mercy. It's a daily thing. It's a daily daily thing. You it's not going to be one thing that we can all do specifically. It's almost equivalent to the relaxation techniques and meditation and all of that. I don't do that, all of that. Probably prayer, exercise, and probably cuss somebody out or something. I don't know, man. I'll try to get some competition in life, through these courts that, playing on the courts, something to that effect. But realistically, I don't know, man. I may write it out, may fuss it out. They got these kids, drive you crazy. So yeah, it's a lot of things. There's no specific thing, brother Will. What do you do, bro?
Well, one of the things you pointed out for me, man, is key and essential, and that's that prayer connection with the
Mm-hmm.
Most High, man, the Ancient of Days. And without that, I would be out here. I would be if I didn't have the connection to Him. And I don't say that to brag. I'm saying humbly, I'm happy that He connects to me, but I daily seek Him, and that prayer, having confidence in Him. That's the main thing. Um, relaxing with good people, being blessed to have great family, great, wonderful, beautiful fiance. We connect. Um, being out in the creation, in the Most High's creation, is a wonderful thing. I know you enjoy that as well as the hard top and the hardwood, brother, that you peruse so well. But simple and small things, man. We were blessed a couple weeks ago to have Miss Kaprina Coleman on. She was telling us about some mindfulness tactics, just being quiet, just being still sometimes, taking deep breaths sometimes. And, the phrase that pays in society is meditation. And, that's cool. But the main thing is sometimes you just need to be still. You need to rest, be still. And that's another thing, plenty of rest. That really helps your mind. And I'm going to pass it to Brother Sean, who's going to enlighten us more in a little bit. But just really quickly, Brother Sean, what do you do to take care of your mind?
Kind of on the I got an echo. Hold on. I'm kind of on the same wavelength with you. Well, like I've learned probably from the past 4 or 5 months that connection with God is everything for me. Waking up in the morning before I go to sleep, and it's something I just kind of got back into. I've always been into it for most of my life, but you kind of forget sometimes. So having that consistency with that, being out in nature, like you said, a quiet time. I found some of my most peaceful moments just sitting out and just kind of like just spacing out, looking at like at a lake or something, or just out in by the trees or something, just feeling the wind, sitting out in the car and just not thinking about anything, but just just kind of just like spacing out. And then my babies, man, my children's, I love them to death. Like they they are everything to me. Like they do stress me out, like JP said, but I also find a peace in them. You know, like whenever I come home, I have a 11-year-old. Forgive me if I can't remember her age bag. I hope my wife ain't watching. I got 11-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 4-year-old. And it's funny because sometimes I can't wait to leave them. But then when I leave, I'm like, hey, I can't wait to get back. Because I miss those hugs and the kisses, and that kind of gives me the peace that I need to kind of get throughout the rest of the day. So
yeah, brother. I feel
Hey,
you.
I'm sorry, John. Go ahead, brother.
I'll say that I feel you on that, man. Enjoy this time frame because it goes by fast because they doing or they gonna cuss you and tell you. Yeah, man, I feel you. My bad, Will. Go ahead, brother.
No, I was just gonna say, if you're just joining us, you just missed a beautiful and wonderful moment. We have Brother Sean Green with us today, who's gonna share his story about survival, and the discussion is about mental health and the importance. And you just heard this young father talk about the love that he has for his children and some of the things that he does to keep his mind calm and stable and safe and secure, prayer and being outside it and so forth. And of course, we're joined by the illustrious Jean-Pierre Vasseur and our super producer Shuri, still looking for our big brother Todd to join us any moment here. But you know, on to this topic, and you know, we're gonna thank you live and on the air. I'm gonna thank you personally live on the air, Brother Sean, because you came on. We full transparency, we didn't have anybody slated for today. Jean put a quick call into you. You were slated to come on at a different time, but you filled the gap for us. And this is and what Jean said in our production call this weekend, and what I keep hearing him say, this is my brother, and so I've known him all my life. So when he says something twice, it's time to really click in. And he's been saying since we started the show, Sean, how important mental health is in our community. And you know, we were discussing offline that it's important. It's always been important, but for our people, and I would say for men, for Black men, it was something we pushed to the side. It was taboo. You know, either you crazy or you ain't, and that's it.
Right.
Either you crazy, is you crazy or you ain't, and that's it. And so, you know, it is just now, I would say last 10, 15, 20 years, where we're starting to say, okay, now it's not just black and white. There are levels and layers to these things. I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna let you tell the people your story, and we'll pick it up from there, brother. Go ahead.
So I guess my story is more of I mean, it all has to do with mental health, like stress and anxiety, but it comes from that point. And my journey just started recently, just as far as the healing process. And it took a long time to realize that I needed to, you know, address this issue. And it took some friends, and it actually just took me expressing, you know, talking about it. Before it wasn't a thing where I would talk about, you know, what's going on in my mind or the issues I'm dealing with daily. Because, you know, with especially, I don't know if this is especially with Black men, but I just feel like it is with Black men that, you know, we've got to be tough. We've got to be, you know, impenetrable. Like we always got to be strong for everybody, for the family, all the time. And that's been my life for the past, I don't know, I guess 13 years, ever since I became a father and a husband. And for me, I think the biggest thing that I had to tackle was the loss of my son. So I told you I had 3 children, but I got to get into the ritual of saying that, you know, that I'm a father of 4.
Take your time, brother. You take your time. Because you know, Sean, you're not the only person that has been through this and needs to hear. There's a lot of people that need to hear what you say. So you take your time, brother. We got plenty of time.
Yeah. my first son, Emmanuel, we lost him at birth. And it was hard to deal with then, but my wife went through the process, of carrying him. And so the beginning of the whole story was, we found out, she was pregnant, probably like 3 or 4 months into it. We're doing our normal, was it like sonogram and stuff like that. And they found something where they were like cysts on his kidneys. And they called the term polycystic kidney disease. And so it's basically where the kidneys don't develop. And so basically it would be an issue with because while the baby's in the stomach and everything, like he's still functioning normally, like he's still peeing and pooping and everything, and that helps with the amniotic fluid and everything. So her fluids were low there, so it didn't help. All that fluid and stuff didn't get into his lungs, so his lungs wouldn't develop. So while he was in the womb, he was fine. He was a perfectly normal baby. He would be kicking, he would be moving, and but the doctors told us at that point that when he was born, he wouldn't be able to breathe, and eventually he would die at birth. And so my wife, like I don't like, my wife is the strongest, probably one of the strongest women I know. In my mind, I'm like, the doctors gave us the option, to, terminate the pregnancy, or, we can make the choice to go through it. And, of course, as a man who's not experiencing all that, I'm like, why put yourself through that stress? But she had a faith like I've never seen. Mm. And to this day, I admire her for that, and I love her for that. Despite what happened, she was intent on going through with the pregnancy because she had faith that, God's will would be done. And so, she went through it, and we went every day, just enjoying him there, but then knowing that, we wouldn't have him after a day or two. Mm. So the day came, and, I felt helpless. I got to hold him. They even told us that he would be deformed in some way, but he was like the most beautiful child ever.
Take your time, brother.
I gotta gather myself. Hold on. We got to hold him, and he was making baby noises and everything, but you could see that he was struggling to breathe. Mm-hmm. And I like that moment. In that moment, I felt so helpless. There was nothing I could do. I've never experienced, I've experienced death, with grandparents and uncles and everything, and those are people who have lived long lives, 70 years old, 80 years old, 90 years old. And so in my mind, there was this rule book of how things were supposed to go. Like, there was no way a child could be taken so early. And in that moment, I learned there was no rule book to this life. And that messed with me. I didn't know it was messing with me at that time, because at that time, I felt like I had to be strong for my wife, who went through all the physical feelings of feeling the child alive and all that stuff, and held him till he died. And so I held back a lot of my grief and a lot of my pain to make sure that she was okay. And little did I know that would affect me as far as the children to come. With my two daughters first, it was hard to, I tried to control everything. Like them going outside to play, I had to be there to watch them, to be just even letting them go to school, first day of school. It was painful because letting them go and not having them in my care after all that time. And then everything would go back into me being helpless and not being able to save my son. And, it also showed with my wife and, making sure she was safe. I would lose sleep. I would have sleepless nights just trying to make sure everybody was okay. It was really messing with me. I would check to see if they were breathing just to make sure, everything was cool. I would even do it with my wife. And I probably averaged 2 or 3 hours of sleep a night for 10 years. And I didn't realize it was taking a toll on me. I thought this is what a man's supposed to do. I'm supposed to keep it all in and never talk about it and stay strong for everybody else while everybody else is hurting and sick. Despite my wife, begging me to, chill out at times or take a break or get rest, and she'd handle things. And I felt like I had to do it because of that one instance where I lost control. And so just anything else that happened after that, in between that, I've just been dealing with just normal life, if I've lost jobs, while having a family and trying to support my family, any type of arguments that I have with my wife, all that stuff just piled on. And it wasn't until recently, I guess it all just kind of boiled over. I ended up in the hospital. I had a heart attack. At first they didn't diagnose it as a heart attack. But it turns out, when I was going through all the pains and everything, it was all the symptoms of a heart attack, and they were looking at this chemical that was released in my body. It's called troponin. And when troponin is released into your body, that's the doctor's sign. When it's released into your bloodstream, that's the doctor's sign that, okay, you have some damage to your heart. There's something going on with your heart. And so they did a whole bunch of tests. They were checking to see, if there were, any clogged arteries. They were checking to see for any passages that they went through my wrist and went up through and stuck a camera up through there just to see if they had to clean anything out. And they really didn't find anything. And so what after I got released from the hospital, they called it a Minoka heart attack. It's something that they just created a name for in the past 2 or 3 years because it's so rare. It's basically a heart attack that doesn't cause any damage. But for some reason, this chemical is released and gives all the signs of a heart attack. But it still kind of weakens you. It still gives you that kind of the feeling. I had pain going all the way up to the back of my neck, my jaw, all those, the left arm hurting and everything else. But once they ruled out, low high blood pressure and all that stuff, they were like, okay, now we've got to look at stress and anxiety. What have you been going through? People who have dealt with loss in their life, usually stuff like this happens with them. And so I think it was a couple weeks before, I just had a friend that I was talking with that kind of broke down to me that, why I needed to address some certain things. Like me and my wife, we had been going through some certain things as far as our marriage. And she has said things in the past about, being controlling and always trying to, dictate how things go. And when I thought of a controlling person, I'm thinking like, Ike and Tina, like, yeah, you gonna eat the cake, anime, like, like, but no, but never did I think I was controlling by just trying to take care of my family. but but I didn't think I was being controlling by taking care of my family. But then when I broke down the situation of what happened with my son and how I lost control, she was like, shit, that's it. That's what it is, Sean. Like, this is what Lauren's been talking about. And she really couldn't, my wife really, she really couldn't, express it to me the way my friend had expressed it. And so that's why I never took it seriously. But now that I've gone through all this stuff, I'm like, wow, this is it's all clicking. Like I've killed myself. Like I've literally killed myself, like trying to control these situations really that I don't have much control over. Like I'm holding back my children from just having a normal kid life. You know what I'm saying? Just letting them go outside and play like I used to do, just run around. Go play basketball and bust John Pierre's butt. You know what I'm saying? Like,
All right. Well,
like, I'm sorry. All right. I'm sorry. I had to sneak that in because he was getting me earlier. So. I'm going. But that was therapy for me too, Jean Pierre, when I used to do that too. But anyway, I digress. But but like my kids having a normal life, and then just just anything else that that I was just trying to control, that really I realizing that it's in God's hands, that whatever happens. And so now I'm going through counseling. I'm talking more about it. Like I said to you earlier, like this, for me to sit here on a podcast and cry about this is something I would never do, probably like 6 months ago. You know what I'm saying? Now it's kind of like a must for me. I've got to get it out because, my goal is to be here for my babies and, to see them grow up and have children. And that was a huge scare for me. So it's important to deal with this stuff and talk about it. And to release these weights off your shoulders and off your heart, man, because it can affect, it causes all types of problems that I just didn't connect it, like, having heart issues or depression or like it could cause strokes, diabetes. Like it's big time, man. It can hurt you big time. And that's what the doctors told me. And that's what I got to take seriously now. So.
Brother Sean, I have a question.
Yes,
and I know Jean wants to jump in here, but let me ask you this. And let me say this first.
Yeah.
From the bottom of my heart, brother, thank you for being honest and being real. I pray, Jean Pierre, that people are watching this show. If they haven't watched any other show that we've done, and I already know that after this, I'm going to post something because you really touched me, because we grew up together.
Right.
And I'm saying that to segue into this. You are an athlete. You are a father. If you want to use old school terminology, a man's man. You're God-fearing. You're fearless. And I'm leading to my point. Point is this: other men, Black men, Sean, fathers, athletes, basketball, ball players. What do you say to those people who say, "Man, I'm like Sean. I'm the man. I got to carry this situation." And that if I speak to somebody, some people do want to speak, but they feel like there's a stigma in going and sitting down and talking to a counselor. Or how do you share the importance, Sean, of why that don't make you weak, that don't make you soft? What do you say to that?
I would just tell them that you're not a superhuman, man. That's what I used to think. Like I had a father that really didn't show that until, and I think my father. Growing up, I never saw him show any type of emotion. He was a hard man. And seeing him in his later age now, being able to express and show his emotion, like I had to see it from him. and just seeing what I went through, like that's a pain I don't want to feel anymore. Like I could tell you, man, like it scared me. It was scary. Like I was in the emergency room asking, like, am I going to see my kids again?
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it's nothing to play around with. Like we're human, and we all need help. And that's what I'm learning to do now with my kids, with my wife. Like I used to do, I'm not bragging on myself this, but I used to do everything just so they wouldn't have to do nothing, so they could be healthy and strong. But now I'm sitting back and letting them take care of me. I'm almost to the point where I'm getting lazy now. But like it's essential, man. Like you can't do everything. You like one of the key things you said, Will, as far as rest. That's something I've lacked for 13 years, brother. 13 years. Like I can't remember the last time I took a nap during the day. Just because I'm like, I feel like I'm missing something. Like something like, you know what else I used to do? This sounds crazy, just because, and this is all the things that I'm thinking about that I did to be in control of a situation. I also used to, like, at nighttime, like I get the kids to sleep, I pray with them, and I used to sit, like an emergency kit right by the door, just in case something popped off. So I'll be ready to get the kids out the house, or in case somebody tried to break in or something. Like that's where my mind was, all because of that loss. And like I was driving myself crazy. So like you got to show this vulnerability. Like you've got to ask for help. You got to, because you'll kill yourself. Literally kill yourself. So that's the only way I would say.
If you are just joining us, I'm so glad you came in. This is Brother Shawn Green, who is a heart attack survivor, also survived his infant child passing. A father of 4 is what Shawn would like you to know, who it took him quite some time, but ended up dealing with some of the stresses and anxieties that caused him to have this heart attack. We're so glad you joined us. This is a powerful and impactful show that we're having. John, I'm going to turn it over to you for follow-up.
Yeah. All right, now let me sit all the way up. All right. Brother, first I love you. I appreciate you. Except on the court. I think that you're a phenomenal dude, a phenomenal brother, except on the court. I think that your laziness has always been in you, especially on the court. It just took some time. Seriously though, brother, I am in awe of you. I adore you. I always have. I've always admired you. And I can only tell you that I admire you more now today, except on the court, than I ever have, and I ever will. You've done something for not just me, not just Will, for a lot of men, a lot of fathers. You have just blown the hinges off the door. There are a lot of things that we can and can't say. There are a lot of things that we will and won't say. But there are a lot of battles that are fought silently. There are a lot of headaches, pains, and hurts that we have to hold on to, and some that we don't. Brother, I had a stroke. I was about 30-something. I was like, hell no, I ain't trying to die now.
Right.
So I understand. Actually, I want to say it was a stroke. It was a TIA, but it's just the next step to a stroke. But regardless, I had numbing up my body. I had a migraine. I ain't never had no migraine. I was like, what is this? What is happening on? And I drove myself all the way from PG County to Howard County Hospital because I ain't want to die in PG County. Now, I left work and I drove
right there. That's a man thing to do.
Brother, myself 295 all the way to Howard County and collapsed in their damn, emergency room, waiting room. I was like, it's a wrap. There's no worse feeling than feeling helpless, right? There's no worse feeling. I understand your pain. I sympathize and empathize with you. I will say that much. I understand your pain. I'm grateful for you and your story. I don't even want to say your story, your truth today, and sharing that with us, because it really puts in perspective the importance of life. We only get one. We're only going to have one. And your strength, your demeanor, your fortitude, man, your foresight. I mean, some of us, have a different type of emergency kit waiting for brothers to break in the house. Some of us have a different type of protection plan. So, yeah, but regardless, man, the time with our children is something that we can't get back, and holding on tight is something that even I've been told, but you hold on too tight, and it's like, man, ain't no such thing. I'm trying to make sure these kids are great, not good, not the best. I'm trying to make sure they're great. You want to give them the greatness of life. You want to protect them from all these things. And I understand, I overstand you, brother. And I commend you for telling us and letting us in, being able to speak about these issues in our hearts, the hurt, the pain, the trauma, man. We, as Black people as a whole and as brothers, we have these conversations on the court, after I bust your ass and, whatever. We talk about things. We talk, besides me hitting that J in your eye while you was trying to guard me, things like that. We talk about the family. We talk about, certain things, relationship things. We talk about, we have our men conversations, right? But there's a certain limit to it, right? There's a certain place that we won't go, because some of us think we're just that's just some girl stuff, right? That's not what men do. And ironically, it is what men do. It is what great men do. They do talk and discuss their issues, and we definitely need to do that more. Sean, we definitely want to continue having you on, brother, because we can extend this forever. Because realistically, your journey right now at a young age, brother, is a journey that some of us aren't even getting to until our old age, or until they have died. And at that point, it's too late. If we can start that early. I have a son, and if I can do anything for my son, I will always tell him and always encourage him, please talk out your problems. Don't hold it in. And I've always done that with him. If you want to challenge me, you want to challenge anybody, brother, just, there's a respectful manner to do it in. You got to keep that in mind of who you're speaking to, but please get it out on the table, because you're harboring nothing. It becomes a cancer. I've always read about cancer and how it comes about. And if you think about how you hold your feelings in, and you think about how you quote unquote avoid situations that's holding feelings in, you're just harboring. You are literally planting the seeds in the soil, and you are nurturing a disease or a situation within your body that it cannot help. It is a stress factor that you don't even need to go through. So I commend you, man, for being able to recognize it. I love you, not just for what you've gone through, but for taking all the hits and bumps and shot taking and layups that I put on you. I appreciate you, brother. My stat sheet great. It's great to see you getting back into your healthy self. And I have a question for you in terms of your road, your path to recovery, in a sense. You're never going to get over, and I'm not asking you and not stating that you have, but you do have a sense of taking a breath and saying, okay, this is out on the table now. I have to be able to, what am I going to do next? What are my goals? So how has that been for you, for your family? I know you said you've been, being better taken care of, what have you, but what are you doing as well to contribute and add to that as well?
Just it's just me just being able to just expressing myself more. Like, it's just putting it out there, wanting to talk. And I have to say, like, my wife put this out there for me years ago, and I didn't listen. So that's number one. Like she was trying to tell me, and maybe she couldn't get it out in the right way, but she put it out there for me years ago about, I guess, the path where I was heading. And it did take a like almost like another person to kind of chime in and give me another perspective, because it was kind of like, especially when you're in the heat of arguments or whatever, a lot of times you're not really taking seriously what your spouse might be saying, and it took somebody else to kind of do it. But I thank her for bringing it to light and making me see the things that I needed to change just to take care of myself. It wasn't even, I mean, it had a little bit to do with how I was treating her, but she was seeing how it was affecting me. Mm-hmm. And that's really what her concern was. And so, so I thank her for that. And I thank my friend for kind of like also bringing it to light as well. But now it's just kind of like my next steps are just like, I'm an open book, man. I'm just trying to talk all the time. And I mean, to the point where, people may not want to talk to me anymore, but like, I'm putting it all out there. Like I'm putting all my emotions, my feelings out there, not holding anything in. Like I said, I'm doing counseling just for that one situation that I went through. And I think there hasn't been a session that I haven't bust out and started crying and understanding that that's okay. Like realizing that that's okay just to have a moment just to sit in a closet and cry a little bit and pray and just ask God for peace. Like my one of the biggest messages in the past 5 months that God has given me was like, you need to cling to me. Like I need to cling to him and realize that he's where my peace is. Mm. And everything else follows after that. And I've always known that, but we're human beings, and we try to control situations ourselves, and like I said before, like I learned that there was no rule book to this, and so a lot of things that you have to leave in God's hands and let his will be done. And so ever since then, I won't say I'm perfectly there, but like I'm on my way. You know what I'm saying? I'm there. I'm getting to the point where, when things come up, when something stressful happens and Sean's ready to react, and I'm like, wait a minute. Like I'm in this nice quiet office here. Like I'll close the door and I'll get on my knees and be like, look, just, peace be still, like, help me. Like, no, I know God's not looking for any like, long prayer, like, holier than thou, Southern Baptist prayer. Sometimes you just need to say, help me. You know what I'm saying? And so that's another part of my journey that, that has been, that I've been going through, that, that's been helping me. So clinging to God and listening to my wife and, just having that motivation to be there for my kids. So.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. I appreciate that. Well, we got some comments. Sean Jocelyn Morris says that, we love you, Sean, and thank you for sharing. She said that we call that being a helicopter parent, when you were trying to, be a shield, or when you were being a shield, that we appreciate your candor and your honesty as well. So, yeah, man, Will, you go ahead, brother. I got more to say, but I'm gonna let it simmer for.
Yeah. Thank you, Sister Jocelyn. Appreciate your comment. We please share the show, Jocelyn. This is just I did not expect to be so moved by our dear brother here. It's really powerful, really important that you share this show. Sean, what I wanted to ask, if you don't mind sharing, is what was the precipitating event that led you to, that the quasi heart attack? I forgot the terminology you use, just outside of a heart attack or a heart attack. What happened? Was it an argument? Was you just feeling bad one day, or what was going on?
So what was happening was I woke up. So my son, my 4-year-old son, he's about to be 4 years old. He's autistic. And so it kind of added to the stress levels. And that's a whole nother story.
Another show for another day.
Right. But he has a habit of waking up during the middle of the night almost every night. So I prepare for that kind of. So I got him up and I deal with him in a certain way that kind of keeps him still a little bit sleepy. And so I put him in the bed with me. But then I got in the bed and I noticed that the bed was, rocking a little bit, and it could be because I'll put it down a little bit. But I want to get into that. My wife might be watching on that, and I don't want to put our business out there. But the bed was broken. Right?
Well, you know what? Let me interrupt you real quick. But here's the thing, Sean. What's beautiful about what you said is that you're a married man.
Correct.
A married black man.
Married black man.
And you talk about making love to your wife.
Exactly.
So any of you all that are out there that don't understand the importance of marriage in the black community, we do. This young man is telling you he was making love to his wife, allegedly, because he said he may or may not put it down. But the beauty of marriage, I'm sorry, I digress. Go ahead, Brother Sean.
Right. So before anything happened with that, I looked under the bed and I saw like these little support things were broken or whatever. And I was like, all right. So I got the boy out the bed and I started lifting up the bed, and that's when I just started feeling the pain. It wasn't any type of argument, no nothing. It just started coming out of nowhere. And I thought it was like, first it felt like what's it called? Acid reflux. But then it started radiating all through my neck and then my jaw. And the only reason why I called the ambulance was because I had taken some ZzzQuil, right? And then I realized earlier that I had taken ibuprofen, and I didn't know if that had any type of negative reaction. And so I called the ambulance just to make sure, and they put me on the EKG, and they were just like, yeah, we'll take you to the emergency room. They didn't see anything seriously from the EKG, but they said they saw like little spikes here and there, but they were like, all right, let's take you there. And so from there, went to the hospital, and then that's when they took my blood and saw the troponin levels high. Well, it started off low at first, but then they were like, all right, let's monitor it and see if it goes up. If it goes up, then we know it's something serious. If it goes down, then you can probably send you home. And then I never forget, like, when the cardiologist came in after they took it once, and then the second time she came in and she's talking to me and she gets the results while she's talking to me, and her face dropped. It was like, it went from the levels went from like a 3.1 up to like a 6.3. And she was like, yeah, that's not good. And so we're going to have to do surgery. And so, yeah, but it was really, it was probably a culmination of things from job stress, from marriage stress, kid stress, not getting enough sleep. Like I said, my sleep habits are terrible. But there wasn't one particular thing that led to that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Jean, you said you had something else?
It's just a silent killer. Stress is a silent killer, man. Like you were, it could be the slightest thing, man, and it triggers a whole reaction in our bodies and our minds. I don't think that people realize, even at work, the amount of stress that you have going through traffic. It's just these little things. You know what I'm saying? These anxieties, these these realities that we're living in these days, and it's enormous, man. It has grown, and a lot of people are dropping like flies from different reasons, from really simple things that we all take for granted. So, to the family, we got to make sure that, not only we sleeping right, we're eating right, we're breathing right, but most importantly, that we're doing everything we can to extend our longevity. And that means we got to talk. Let's talk. My line's always open. My DMs is always open. Anybody hitting me there any damn way, but it's all good. Talk, it's really, it's really, we have so many different ways to communicate. And Sean and any brothers that were like Sean or are like Sean in terms of maybe not having the right people to speak to, or maybe not having the feeling the comfort, man. My arms, my DMs, everything's open to have a conversation with your brothers. You want to talk, you got issues, you want to, whatever, we ain't making enough money, whatever. I don't care what it is. We all know somebody that can help somebody and do something and help alleviate the stress. At least you get it out in the open, and you got somebody you can trust. I ain't about putting nobody's business out there. I'm not a certified counselor, but damn it, I'm certified. So, you want to holler, you want to talk, we are here. This is your open mic session. Sean, we appreciate you. I can't say it enough, man. I love you. I appreciate you. I can't wait to go up against you again, battling and seeing if you still got anything. It wasn't anything way, but
I won't need much for you, man. Look
yeah, brother.
Right now, probably some house shoes, house slippers, man. I probably still take you.
It's gonna be a left-handed game, and it's gonna be a practice round from
You're so disrespectful, man. I don't even know why I came on this show. I'm no class whatsoever, yo. I don't know how you deal with this dude, bro. Like school on a Saturday, no class whatsoever.
Oh man,
it's my crown, right, brother? It's there for brother. So yeah.
So Sean, real quick. We're gonna end it in a little bit, but let me ask you this now. Dealing with what you dealt with, how have you started, or have you started imparting the coping mechanisms, be it prayer or talking to the right people or listening more? Have you started to impart those things to your children? I know you're the prince is a little young, but to the girls, have you started telling them?
So I was actually already doing that before that happened. So I was basically being a hypocrite. I was telling them all the good stuff that they need to be hearing, but I wasn't practicing it myself. So yeah, that's always been a part of, especially dealing with what they're dealing with as far as this school year. Like, they've been really down and depressed as far as not being able to see their friends and everything. And so both my wife and I always tell them, like, anytime you want to talk, anytime you have feelings you want to express, that you always come to us. We pray every night. I'm still trying to get them in the habit of, praying on their own and approaching God on their own. Not always mom and dad leading prayers, but letting them know that, God just loves to hear you talk to him. Just doesn't have to be a long-winded prayer. Just say, hey, God, I love you. Or, help me in this situation. Or, peace be still. I always tell my daughter, peace be still, whenever she's having, nightmares or something like that. And so she also got into a habit of doing that herself. And to the point where now, she can't go to sleep without a prayer. You know what I mean? So yeah, I've something I've always done with them, but I wasn't practicing myself. So I was like, man, I got to step it up, because it's not about me just saying it. I gotta live it myself, and so they can see it, and so you can see the example. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's phenomenal, brother. That right there is absolutely true. Walking in your own advice. That is maturity there, brother. I'm proud of you. That's awesome.
Yeah,
No, that's phenomenal, man. What you're instilling in the kids is phenomenal. And the fact that you're able to have them understand where you're coming from. You have a prime example of what a man should be. You are a prime example of what a man should be, and what you're going through, what you've gone through, and what you are conquering. So I'm proud of you, brother, and just keep it going. I'm here for it, except for the other stuff, but I'm here for it. And we applaud you. The family, the royal family is just raving over your testimony, and Jocelyn Moore says that you're teaching the babies to pray for themselves. That is powerful in itself. Stacy Jones says, awesome testimony. We've got we got your back, brother. We appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
And I love the Triple Crowns Royal family coming through. Miss Morris, Stacy Jones, thank y'all so much. This brother needs to be lauded for sure. Not only what he's doing for himself, but as a young man doing these wonderful things, instilling this wisdom into his children. Any more comments, brother, before we do Peaceful Journey and on out? And thank you.
I got personal comments, but we can leave that beef now.
How about from the Triple Crowns family? Is that all, the last two?
Right now, brother. This is it for right now, man. Sean, it's a lot of love for you. It's a lot of love continuing your journey. And brother, peace be still, especially.
So, Sean, this is Peaceful Journey, man. If there's any thought or string of thoughts you'd like to leave with our family, man, we like to leave them off with something powerful and peaceful to carry them from this Wednesday to next, or from this Wednesday till tomorrow. And you dropped a truckload of wisdom, honesty, truth, and advice on us. But is there anything that you would like to say before we part?
Not really. Just take care of yourselves, man. Like it's important to communicate and talk these problems out, talk out any issues you may have. Like this platform here, man, like it's like I said it before, it's therapy. There's a lot of groups out there that of men, women who going through the same problems. And that's probably part of the problem. Like you don't know there's other people going through these issues. And so once you talk to one, you find out one's going through something, and then another one, and then it just becomes a lot easier. And it just becomes a big, healing session for everybody, So just don't hold it in. Get it out there. Take care of yourselves.
Beautiful, brother. Jean?
Yeah, there's best, man. There is no rule book to all of this. There are books out there, but them things don't relate to the real life practices that need to be that are in play. Relationships with our children, relationships with our spouses. It's just biggest issues that you will ever have in your life, because we're all trying to control what we can control, and sometimes we try to control what we can't control. That's the biggest stress right there. Unfortunately for us as young Black men, young Black fathers, the challenge, they are watching us lead and grow and so on and so forth. And in this world today, that is even more challenging because we have so many combat. Times are definitely different, and they're definitely real for us all. So I really really hope that we all take into account our mental health, our relationships. I pray that we all continue to strive for the best. And happy birthday to my brother Steve. Happy birthday, brother. Sean, love you, man. Appreciate you, and we gonna have you on again, man. We gotta get a follow-up, especially when it's that 11-0. We gonna talk about that.
Yeah. Happy birthday, brother Steve. I just want to leave everybody with a little bit of scripture for comfort and security. This is Lamentations 3:20-23. My soul continually remembers, it is bowed down within me. But this I do call to mind, and therefore I have hope. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. And I just want to say, brothers, remember, watch what you do, because your children are watching you. Until the next time, as my brother Jean says, we love you.
Mhm.
Peace, grace. Brother Sean, we do thank you so much. We're gonna jump off, Jean. We need to make a commercial and let everybody know that this was a powerful show. Sean, is there any way people can contact you, social network, any way you want to do anything like that, or we just leave it where it is?
Yeah, I guess we leave where it is. I mean, I'm on Facebook, Instagram. You can holler at me.
Bet.
I think JP got my info, right?
No doubt.
Yeah, I got it. JP gonna beat his ass.com. Yeah.
And by the way, brother Tyrone is doing all right. Couldn't make it this evening, but he's doing well. So we miss our brother, and we can't wait till next Wednesday when he shows up and is in the house. That's all we got, John. Unless you got anything else.
I don't. Peace, family. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Keep talking. Keep being open. If you need any help in any way, shape, or form, Will got you. I'll be on the other side. No, we're all here to help, and